Hi again, this is Kirby Chua back from my long break, and here's the video for Christian Counseling Part 6. It's entitled Counseling and Advice Giving. So I'm titling it up in the context of Christian counseling because we are in Christian counseling. However, advice giving is a sensitive issue, and it's a theme tackled among all counseling classes, in all the trainings and all the definitions of counseling. It's a sensitive issue on whether counselors should give advice or cannot give advice, or we ought to avoid giving advice, or all those stuff. For now, I will explain why, and it will give our future clients, or even our current clients, an overview on what to expect in counseling. Because first and foremost, I'm here to say that, to clarify the product and service called counseling, normally by textbook, we do not give advice. We, as counselors, it's not just Christian counselors, counselors per se, even okay, I'll talk about psychology later on. But when you say counseling per se, it's not really about problem solving, and it's not about advice giving. And I'll tell you why, right? So first and foremost, when you say that the title of counselor in the mental health industry, it is someone who will help you grow through processing and through learning. So it's a learning experience when you come for counseling. The best analogy I will place here is the analogy of teaching someone to fish rather than giving someone the fishes. So again, please don't expect, and I'm saying this clearly, so there's no false expectations when you approach a counselor, especially in Grace Counseling Center. Yeah, when you approach, don't expect the counselor to give you a direct answer. If you ask them things to solve, a problem to solve for you. Say, for example, you will give them a problem like, should I quit my job or not? Again, the advice of the counselor that you expect would be, in all my analysis and in all my assessment, I would advise you to quit your job. And no counselor will do that. No counselor will take responsibility for that advice. I would say only the bravest of the bravest, or the unwittingly untrained counselor, will do that, because they're setting themselves up for a trap. So what more or less the counselor will do is to explore more about your current situation. Why? Because we are here to listen. Counselors are designed and trained and bred to listen. Why is this? Because the key word is processing. We're here to help you guys fill in the blanks, connect the dots inside your heads, because we truly believe, this is part of our philosophy of choosing our professions. If we truly believe that the answers that you're looking for are within you, that you are capable of answering your questions, you as the client, right, are capable of solving your problems, answering your life's questions. It's the respect that we give to you as a human being. So it's a humanistic perspective as well. So this would lead to the misleading. It will lead to the misleading title of what a counselor is, because in society we use counseling, or the title of counselors, in many contexts, right? So you can hear the word counsel. What is the defendant's counsel, for example, right? So it's even used in the field of law. When you say the counsel, it is someone who gives an advice. It's a consultant. What did you consult from? What is it that the answer that you're looking for? And I keep telling people that we counselors in the mental health industry are not consultants. A consultant is someone who will give advice. You want to lose weight? You do this. You do this. You do this. You do this. In counseling, if you want to lose weight, I think what most counselors will do is to probe why you want to lose weight and what's stopping you from losing weight on your own. So in this case, we fulfill the counseling goals of processing, of growing on your own, learning and changing for yourself. So think about this one, right? It's teaching someone to fish rather than giving them a fish. I cannot just tell someone, in all my expertise, I advise you to stick to your marriage wherein you're suffering and you're hurt and you're in the A&E emergency room every day because you're physically abused. But I advise you to stay. So no counselor will do that. So we're here to process things with our clients. So it's not like when you say counsel me, it doesn't mean that tell me what to do. So that's not what we do here, right? Or solve my problem. You see, I know this girl and she doesn't like me. Story of my life. Tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. It seems like a good attitude for a client to say that, right? Just tell me what to do and I will do it. It seems like a good attitude, but it's a dangerous expectation because we're not here like doctors or GPs, general practitioners, internal medicine, to give an advice. So what is an advice? Let me clarify what an advice is for our conversation here. An advice is something that is not really forced, but something that you recommend to your clients or patients that in your expert, it's endowed with your expert opinion to be the best course of action. Therefore, it comes with the implication, it's implied, that if you want to get well, you follow my advice, you follow my solution. It's like the doctor's advice. Get these droppers or drink this medicine. If you don't, then it's your fault that you don't get well. You need to obey the doctor's orders, right? So we have patient compliance, or say client compliance. I would say they demand obedience. So that's an advice. It demands obedience from the clients. And I'm asking you, so if you're considering counseling, do you really want someone telling you what to do? Taking all the responsibility for your life. Yeah, telling you when to quit your job, to stay in your job. This is not what counseling does. So what does counseling do? For now, our main job, and you would say, is that what it is, right? So and I'll give you the reason for this one. Our main job is simply to listen. In the beginning, it's to listen. Now, why do we do this? Because I keep telling my friends here that I want to understand the context for me to help you and process your problems and process your fears and your issues. I need to understand the totality of the person. You'll find this in Proverbs 18:13. Proverbs 18:13 more or less states this one. And I'll place it here. Yeah? He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. Yeah? So again, this one came from the Bible. It was stolen from Solomon, man. That if you want to help someone, listen to their problem first. It's not that someone comes to you, I hate my boss, your next reply, quit your job then. You see the problem there, right? You don't even know the context. You don't know the nuances. You don't know the gradients and the layers of problems, that it's not binary. It's not that I stay in my job or I leave my job. It's not as simple as this. I cannot just quit my job. I need money. I need to sustain my pay. I need to feed my family. But at the same time, I don't like my boss. So it's not as simple as you just quit your job. So counselors, we are here. The counselors are here to help you with the process, right? I tell people that counseling is an abnormal relationship because no friend would do this for you. You have to pay someone professional fees for someone to sit back, listen and absorb and empathize to everything that you will have to say without judgment. And advice can be a judgment, by the way, right? So what's the job of the client then? I keep telling people that counseling is defined as the counselor listening and the clients talking more. There's going to be a part for counselors to speak, but it's the clients who's supposed to be speaking and speaking more. So a reference for this one, Job 7:11. So it's about Job telling his buddies that stop judging me, stop condemning me. I just want to speak. Can I just speak? Even though I criticize God, even though I lament about my current situation, which may seem insulting to God himself, please let me do it. So Job is telling his friends that, please, can I just vent out first? I think females will understand this more, right? So that's the job of the clients, right? So I call this a venting stage for the clients to start pouring out preferably in an uncensored way. Pour out their hearts, air out their dirty laundries. Uh, and it's data gathering for the counselor. What the counselor is doing at that stage is to hear you slowly, listen to you, understand you, and then we can help. Okay? So, 3 reasons why we don't give an advice. And the first one is the advice. Put here 3 reasons. Advice, the first one is the advice creates dependence. What do we mean by this one? An advice may work for a case, but it doesn't mean that it will work for every case. So what does that tell us? A particular expert advice will work for one case. However, if you change the variables for that case, it may work for case A. For example, I encountered a depressed person and I advised this person to go jogging. It's a sad advice. Let's just say we don't do this. We don't do this in counseling. So someone is depressed and I advised him to run every morning. That's the doctor's order. If you don't do this, then it's your fault for being depressed. You have to follow this. It's my expert advice. Now, it worked for that person and he's super happy, sends me flowers here. Then the next depressed person comes, depressed person case B. Very, very different context. The gender of the client is different. It's in a workplace issue. The other one is a family issue. I cannot just tell them the same thing. Jog every morning. It's against, it's the one size fits all once again. All of us want this one. We're looking for that miracle pill, that miracle drug that will cure everything in one go. But sadly, counseling is about the uniqueness of the person. So what do we have to do? I have to listen to client B and start from scratch and give him or her the amount of time that's due to them. It's a matter of respect. I listen to client A. They have their own stories, their own backstories, their own, I would call it the TV series. They have their own backstories. And I have to give the due respect to client B. And it doesn't mean that things that work for client A will help with client B. I've tried this before. Many templates for depression, many templates for marriage issues and stuff and anxieties. No two can ever be alike. Why? Because the situation, the personality, a lot of factors, key factors, are very, very different. So as such, I can give you an advice, but it will work only for one person in a particular time, in particular set of circumstance. It will not work for you. So again, this is for counseling. We're dealing with a social science here, right? So it creates dependence. It's limited to one situation. So once again, right? So number one, advice creates dependence. And should it work, the client will learn. Should the advice work, the client will come again and say, hey, I'm depressed again. What can you advise to me now? I would say, okay, instead of jogging, does it still work? No more. Do jumping jacks this time. Do jumping jacks. After 2 weeks, they come back. Today, I have a fight with my office mate. How do I deal with it? Okay, send your boss flowers and say sorry. And they do that. So I call this dependency the petrol station. Every time they need an advice, they come to you. You send them off. It's successful. They come back. And they keep coming back because they have not grown, because they learned nothing from you. You keep giving them fishes, and they'll keep asking back for fishes. This is not the goal of counseling. The goal of counseling is to empower the person to implement healthy changes, to empower them to implement healthy changes such that they can stand on their own, minister to other people on their own, right? And probably set up their own church. I leave it to them. It's not to make someone dependent, keep coming back to you for advice, which you will be responsible for. For the second reason why we don't give advice is that no counselor, and we have been warned about this over and over again in our training, no counselor would want to be responsible for deciding on their client's life choices. I don't want to be responsible, aka blamed, when I tell you, in my expert opinion, I advise you to divorce this person and married person B. So again, what right will I have to say that? Unless I'm the expert of your marriage, which no one is. You are the expert of your life. Why? Because you are the one who's gonna live it. You're the one who has all the information, and you're the one who cares most about it. For us, we only have what 5% of the data, and we are not experts of your life. So we don't want to take the responsibility. So it's not a selfish protectionist issue that, hey, I don't want to be sued. I don't want people complaining about me. I don't want to be a failure. It's not that. It's also I give the respect to the client that I am no better than you. I am not better than you. I am here. I can say as a friend. I am here as a friend to journey with you. Everyone is too busy nowadays. You call up your friend. You can have coffee with them for 30 minutes to an hour. And it cannot be all about you when it comes to your friendships. So I say it again, counseling is an abnormal relationship between you and the professional counselor where everything becomes about you. So this time is about you, and the counselor's job is to see you, to empathize with you. Which brings us to the third issue of advice giving. It's about empathy. Advice giving cuts off empathy. Now what is empathy? Romans 12:15. Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with all those who mourn. We're not here to tell you, don't be angry, don't be sad. Shouldn't be sad. The one you lost had a good life. You ought to be celebrating. So how dare we tell you how to feel? So that's not empathy, right? So once again, rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. Sadly, we're in a clinical profession. It's the mourners who come here, not the ones rejoicing. So when you're mourning, of course, the counselor wants to understand why is it so painful to you, so we can swim with you. At least you're not alone in the process, and we can empower and elevate each other in the process. Sometimes we need a third party, an objective observer, to help us swim, right? So we need someone to, I would say this, dentists need someone to clean their teeth. The hairdresser needs someone to cut and set their hair. Human beings need a mirror, and as objective a mirror as possible. So sadly, our family members, it's not their job to empathize with us. It's their job to protect us with what they think is correct. So sometimes you tell your problem to your family members, you'll be cut off. The key word here is the cut off. Again, I hate my boss. Leave your job. I'm not happy with, for example, my marriage. Divorce. Leave this person. I agree. You have my blessing. Hey, hold on a minute. I didn't say anything about divorce. I'm just saying I'm just not happy for now. Divorce never occurred in my mind. But that's an advice given, correct? Right? That's an advice given. And that's the reason why advice giving annoys most people who are distressed. And a lot of you have been complaining about this, right? Can you just please listen first? So again, an advice may insult the client. It's an insinuation that I'm better than you. An advice will disconnect the client and the counselor. Because where can we go next? You just say you're not happy with your job. I say, leave your job. We practically cut off the communication. We cut off the dialogue. We cut off the discussion. There's nothing left to discuss. There's no processing, no learning experience, no change will happen. So you're hungry, here are fishes. It completely goes against the educational and the growth process of counseling. So next time you meet someone who's hungry, they want fishes. All right, let's see. Have you tried getting your own fish? What stopped you? What were the hurdles? So we help. We don't even teach. We help people fish. So this is what counseling is, right? So as a client, prepare yourself for a session of the big three of processing. I know you don't like this one because this is the painful part. We'll ask you guys to recall the past, to give me an example my boss is a lousy boss. Can you give me an example? So I'm not happy with life. I've been trying to cope with the emptiness in life. Can you give me an example? Yeah, so it's processing, so learning can happen, then the healthy change can be implemented. So, and this is for this reason, counseling is a long process, because we have to battle the trust issue between counselor and client. I call it the handshake. We have to battle the trust issues. We have to deal with the communication issues. This is called the counselor-client fit. I'll produce more videos for this one. So again, people can just get this for free. And you will have to match with the counselor on that's why it's quite important for the counselor and client to match and to fit one another, because it's going to be a deep relationship where communication has to be facilitated between emotions and unconscious gestures, unconscious messages, and the counselors will use all of these to empathize with you to facilitate the change. So I hope this helps answer the question of why counselors don't just give an advice. We can't. Yeah, if we can, if I'm an expert on all these cases that I've been an alcoholic, I can share with my experience, but it's not an advice. So that's the best we can do. All right. So again, secondly, I hope it settles some expectations on counseling. That why can't we solve problems, and what do we do? What do we do if we don't dispense an advice? So we're here to listen, and we're here to empathize, and we're here to facilitate the growth process. So think about this one. It's about teaching someone to fish rather than giving them the fish. Overall, we're here to empower the person for their own personal growth so they never come back to counseling. So once again, thank you for listening. Sorry for the time. God bless everyone.